My girlfriend drained our joint fund to wine and dine another man. I told her, enjoy yourself. Then I emptied the account in cash and shut it down. Hours later, she was blowing up my phone, panicked, when her card got declined right in front of her new man. I'm 30, male, and I used to pride myself on being measured, steady, the kind of guy who budgeted, planned ahead, and believed in partnerships. My girlfriend, Leela, 27, was the opposite. Impulsive, charming, full of big gestures and spontaneous plans. For 3 years, I thought our differences balanced us out. She brought the spark. I brought stability. When we moved in together, the idea of a joint account seemed natural. Rent, groceries, shared expenses, it made sense. I still had my personal savings, but this fund was meant to be our life money. Leela was the one who suggested we both contribute evenly so we'd always have a safety cushion. At first it worked fine. Then little things started bothering me. Random $80 charges from high-end bars I'd never been to. Uber receipts at 2 a.m. when she told me she was just hanging with the girls. I'd ask and she'd wave it off with a laugh. Relax, babe. I covered Sarah's drinks. She'd pay me back. Or that Uber was for my cousin. Long story. I wanted to believe her. Trust is the backbone of a relationship, right? But the unease grew. The breaking point came one Friday night when I was stuck late at work. I got a text from our bank. Your joint account balance has fallen below $50. My heart sank. We had over $1,500 in there that morning. I opened the statement, scrolling through charge after charge at restaurants, cocktails, and a boutique hotel. Then, like a punch to the gut, I saw it. To dinner charges back-to-back at a fancy place Leela had once begged me to take her to. She was supposed to be at her mom's that evening. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I did something I rarely do. I waited to be sure. Over the next week, I paid close attention. And sure enough, her stories stopped lining up with the numbers. So when she strutted in Saturday morning, humming like she was living her best life, I kept my voice calm. Hey, Leela, our joint account's getting hit hard. You notice anything? She didn't even flinch. Just waved her hand. Oh, that. Don't worry about it. I've got it handled. Handled. That was the word that broke me. She was using our hard-earned money to impress another man. She had the nerve to act like I was the fool for even asking. That night, while she was out again, I logged in. One withdrawal. All of it. I closed the account, stuffed the cash in an envelope, and sat back, waiting for the fallout. And it didn't take long. The fallout came quicker than I expected. Around 9:15 p.m., while I was halfway through a beer and a rerun of some mindless sitcom, my phone lit up. First a text. Hey babe, my card's not working. Did you forget to transfer money? I didn't reply. 2 minutes later, another. Seriously, I'm at dinner and this is embarrassing. Just fix it. Still silence from me. Then came the call. Her voice was half laughing, half panicked. Okay, this is funny, but really what's going on? I'm here with a friend, and my card got declined. Can you send something quick? With a friend, she didn't even bother to lie. That was the moment my chest went cold. I could hear the clatter of dishes in the background, a low male voice asking something, and her muffled reply. Then she snapped back at me. Why aren't you answering? I hung up. Within 10 minutes, she was spamming me with voicemails. The first was pleading soft, syrupy. Babe, I don't know what happened, but please, just transfer money. We'll talk later. The second was sharper, angry. Are you kidding me? This is humiliating. Do you know how this makes me look? And the third, pure rage. You're pathetic, petty, you think this makes you strong? Wait until everyone hears about how cheap you are. I set my phone face down, the vibrations buzzing nonstop across the table, and leaned back in my chair. For once, I didn't feel the usual anxiety to fix things. Instead, I felt clarity like I had finally closed a door I should have locked months ago. When she finally came home near midnight, the energy in the apartment was explosive. She threw her purse on the couch and stormed into the living room, eyes blazing. What the hell was that? She demanded. I was stranded in front of people. I stayed calm, people or someone. Her face faltered, then hardened. That's not the point. You embarrassed me. No, I said evenly. You embarrassed yourself. You used our money to fund your little escapades, and you thought I wouldn't notice. You thought I'd keep filling the pot while you drained it dry. She crossed her arms, chin high. You're overreacting. It was just a couple dinners. Couple dinners, I scoffed. Leela, the account was wiped because of you. Rent money, groceries, bills, you gambled all of it to play sugar mama to some guy. That's not a couple dinners. That's betrayal. For once, she didn't have a quick excuse. Her silence was louder than any denial. He closed the account, she finally said, almost in disbelief. Damn right I did, I said. And guess what? I'm done being your safety net. You want freedom? Pay for it yourself. Her jaw clenched. She opened her mouth like she wanted to scream, but no words came. And that's when it hit me. She wasn't angry because of love or even guilt. She was angry because her free ride was over. And in that moment, I knew things would never go back to how they were. The morning after was eerily quiet. Usually, Layla would slam cabinets, sigh dramatically, or rattle her coffee mug like a warning bell. But that morning, she sat at the table, scrolling her phone in silence, her jaw set. I poured my own coffee and waited. She didn't look up. Finally, she said flatly, you humiliated me. In front of him, I took a sip, unfazed. You humiliated us. The difference is, I don't care what some random guy thinks of me, but you. You cared enough to gamble our money to impress him? Her eyes darted toward me sharp. You don't understand. She cut herself off. He what? Makes you feel young? Exciting? Worth draining a joint account? She winced, just barely, but covered it with a sneer. You're being dramatic. You always overreact. You're so predictable. Predictable. The word stung, but only for a second, because I realized predictable had saved me. Predictable had let me notice the money vanishing. Predictable had built me enough discipline to walk away when she thought I'd crawl back. Before I could answer, her phone buzzed. She flipped it over too quickly. I caught the name Darren. The guy you should probably answer that, I said. You might be wondering why his dinner didn't go through. Layered, but stood and stormed off to the bedroom. Through the thin walls, I heard the muffled edge of an argument. Her voice was defensive, then desperate. His was sharp, cutting. Something about not what he signed up for. 15 minutes later, she came out pale, eyes glassy. He's done, she muttered. I raised an eyebrow. Shocker. Don't be smug, she snapped. You don't get it. Oh, I get it, I said calmly. He wanted the lifestyle you promised, not the bill that came with it. And when the card declined, so did his interest. That one landed. She flinched, then turned her frustration back at me. So what now? You've made your point. Congratulations. You ruined my relationship. No, Leela, I said, leaning in. You ruined it. You ruined us too. All I did was stop bankrolling your betrayal. She laughed bitterly. So what? You think you're some kind of hero now? People are going to hear about this. My friends, my family, they'll know how you treated me. I shrugged. Then tell them. Tell them the truth. You stole from me. You used me. And when the well dried up, so did your little side project. Her lips trembled, and for the first time, I saw fear slip past the anger. Because she knew deep down that if the story came out, no one would see her as a victim. Later that afternoon, I got the first taste of just how far she'd spiral. Her best friend texted me out of nowhere. What the hell happened? Leela's freaking out. She says you trapped her financially. Is that true? I stared at the message, smiling faintly. The narrative was shifting, and she was scrambling to control it. But the more she tried, the more tangled she'd become. And I had no intention of saving her this time. By the next day, I realized Layla had gone on a campaign to paint herself as the victim. My phone buzzed with messages from mutual friends, each version of her story wilder than the last. One text said she claimed I financially trapped her. Another hinted I'd been controlling for years. Someone even suggested I had anger issues and had humiliated her at that restaurant. I scrolled through them, shaking my head. Same script, different actors. Lila was desperate, and desperate people spin lies fast. Instead of replying, I took screenshots of our bank withdrawals, the dinners, the gifts, the Uber rides, all tied to her nights out with Darren. I didn't send them yet. I just saved them in a neat little folder titled Receipts. That evening, her older brother called me. He sounded furious. What did you do to Lila? She's telling me you emptied her account and left her stranded with a bill. I almost laughed. Her account? Check again, Daniel. That was our account. She used it to wine and dine another man. I just pulled out what was left. If you want, I can send you the statements. There was silence, then a low exhale. Is this true? He asked, his anger now mixed with confusion. Every line item, I said firmly. And you know me, Daniel. I'm boring. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't play games. But I do keep records. Want me to email them? He hesitated, then muttered, Don't bother. Okay, I'll talk to her, and hung up. I could picture it Leela, red-faced, spinning her web, only to be confronted by her brother with cold, hard facts. The thought made me smile into my coffee. 2 days later, the fallout started. One by one, her friends stopped texting me, not because they believed her, but because they'd started realizing the truth. She'd been sloppy, flaunting her mystery man on Instagram, with dinners she clearly couldn't afford alone. Screenshots circulated. Comments turned sharp. People weren't whispering about me anymore. They were whispering about her. That Friday, I bumped into an old coworker at the grocery store. He grinned and shook his head. Man, I heard about Lila. Rough stuff. Guess she thought she could play both sides and win, huh? I raised an eyebrow. Word travels fast. Faster than her excuses, he said with a chuckle. By the time I got home, Leela was waiting on my doorstep. No smugness, no sharp tongue this time. Just disheveled hair, tired eyes, and desperation dripping off her like rainwater. We need to talk, she said, her voice cracking. I leaned against the doorframe. About what? The money? Darren? Or the smear campaign? Her eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. Please, you don't understand what it's like to feel forgotten. I almost pitied her. Almost. But I wasn't about to let sympathy rewrite the truth, because this time, everyone else already knew it. Layla stood there trembling, mascara smudged, looking nothing like the confident girl who used to strut into restaurants on my dime. This was someone stripped of her power plays. I'm sorry, she whispered, almost choking on the words. I don't know what I was thinking. Darren, he doesn't care about me. He just wanted free meals, and now he's ghosted me. You're the one who's always been there. Please, can we fix this? I watched her, weighing every syllable. This was the same woman who drained our savings for candlelit dinners with another man. The same woman who tried to spin me into the villain just a week ago. And now she wanted forgiveness, like it was something I could just hand out at the door. Leela, I said calmly, you didn't just cheat with another man. You cheated with our money. You cheated with trust. And when you were caught, you didn't own. It doubled down with lies. That's not a mistake. It's a pattern. She flinched as if each word was a lash. But then she shifted gears. We can rebuild. I'll get a job. I'll pay you back. I cut her off. Pay me back. You don't get it. Money isn't the point. Respect is. And you cashed that out long before I closed the account. Lip quivered. Then the waterworks started in full force. She grabbed my arm, clinging like a lifeline. Don't do this, please. My friends won't talk to me. My family's disappointed. I have nothing left. I need you. For a second, I almost felt at the pull of history, of all the good days we'd shared before the lies. But then my phone buzzed in my pocket. A notification from the receipts folder I'd shared with a couple of mutual friends for safekeeping. Another person had just viewed the files.
The truth was already out there, and there was no rewinding it.
Nice. I gently removed her hand from my arm. You don't need me, Layla. You need to learn what it feels like to live without a safety net. Because every time you fall, you expect someone else to catch you.
Not anymore.
Her sobs turned to anger in an instant. So what? You're just going to throw me away? After everything we had? I shook my head. You threw it away. I just picked up the pieces you left. For a moment, we stood in silence, me, steady in the doorway, her unraveling on the porch. Then, like flipping a switch, she straightened her back, wiped her face, and sneered. You'll regret this, she hissed. You'll come crawling back when you realize I was the best thing that ever happened to you. I didn't even blink. If betrayal and overdraft fees are the best I'll ever have, then I'm setting my standards higher. I closed the door, her muffled curses fading as I walked away. That was the night I knew for sure Leela's chapter in my life wasn't just closing. It was burned, shredded, and buried. And I had no intention of ever digging it up again. Fallout didn't take long. By the next week, word had spread through our friend circle. Screenshots of her messages, receipts of her spending, even photos she'd posted with Darren, all of it circulated like wildfire. She wasn't just embarrassed. She was radioactive. I didn't have to lift a finger. People she once bragged to about her luxury lifestyle were now laughing behind her back. Every brunch invitation dried up. Her phone went silent, except for the debt collectors, who were calling about the credit cards she'd maxed, trying to maintain the image after I cut her off. One night I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Darren. His voice was sharp, annoyed, almost panicked. "Look, man," he started. "Can you tell Layla to stop blowing up my phone? She's calling me 20 times a day. I told her it was just fun, but she won't let it go. She's acting crazy." I laughed. The irony was perfect. She had tried to upgrade from me to him, and now he was desperate to get rid of her. "Not my problem," I replied, and hung up. That's when I realized the balance had shifted completely. For the first time in years, I wasn't the one being used, manipulated, or guilt-tripped. I was free. But Layla wasn't done yet. 2 days later, she showed up at my job. Security had to stop her at the front desk because she was insisting she needed to explain everything. My manager called me, asking if I wanted to deal with it. I didn't even go downstairs. "Tell her I'm busy," I said, and went back to work. That was the breaking point. She finally understood. She couldn't cry, manipulate, or charm her way back. She was out of moves. That night, she sent one last text, not a wall of excuses this time, just a single line. I ruined the only good thing I had. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Life after Leela felt lighter. I had more money in my account, more peace in my home, and no constant anxiety about what she was doing behind my back. I started reconnecting with old friends, picking up hobbies I'd put aside, even traveling on my own. Every day without her felt like reclaiming another piece of myself. And here's the thing about people like Leela. They don't just disappear. Word of her latest disasters trickled back to me through mutuals. Darren blocked her. Her parents made her move back in because she couldn't pay rent. She even tried joining a dating app, but screenshots of her history surfaced there too. Every new start collapsed under the weight of her past choices. Me. I simply moved forward. Because when someone shows you who they are when they prove, with receipts, that loyalty means nothing to them.